Good afternoon and happy June 1st. This is Pam with Follow Your Brush, and I am back in my watercolor world today, coming to share some things that I've been doing. I wanted to look back at the month of May. I know I stay pretty busy painting pretty much daily. Not every day, but I try to do something. And so I wanted to kind of review for myself, and I thought it'd take you along. You know, I've been, excuse me, doing some baby paintings. And here's some more of my little baby paintings, my miniature paintings. I did this one's no reference photos, just kind of my imagination in the woods. I'm sure it's probably based off of something that I painted previously, no doubt. It's just in my mind. This is my dogwood tree from out front. I call it my dogwood because I've chosen to paint it. Just that one tree I paint over and over and over and over and over. And so if you see trees like that with this branch coming back over like this, it splits. That's my dogwood. This is another one I've been doing. The original reference was from Jill Williams in one of her workshops. And I tried it on a tiny painting. What I learned with this one is, even though it's tiny, you can still overwork and use too much water. You got to really watch your water pigment ratio and be careful. This is another little tiny one that I did. Just a little flower and a window behind it. I just did that with ink. I hope you can see that. This is just like maybe a 1.5 by 1.5. It's just a tiny one. And then I have this little sketchbook. Let me take my paints off of here to show you. I did this one. This little sketchbook is really fun. If you watch Emily Olson on YouTube, she had done a review of all the travel books, travel journals, large and small, on Amazon. And she bought them all and she tested them out. And this was one of them. This was last year actually that I bought this, or maybe even a year and a half ago. And I've added some little, get some flowers on it and just playing with it. But then last night I did this little house with, just out of my imagination. But again, it's probably from something I've already worked on before, so it's still in my brain. But this is fun. I also, I also like to use these clips, as I showed you before, and this is my tiny palette that I created with the colors that I like. So I can fit it on here like this to the magnet, and I'm having trouble with the lid. Keeps coming off. There we go. And then I've got my paints right here. And then I can just hold it and paint. And I'm very pleased with these colors that I had chosen a few weeks ago. I'm still continuing to work with them, and I'm very pleased with them. So that's my little trick for my little minis. I have ordered a larger, well, actually not larger, different, let me put it that way, a different little pan set than this that I had to order online that I saw from Leslie Stroz, S-T-R-O-Z, Stroz. I'm not sure how she pronounced that, but she has this really cute little one that she can actually clip onto her little baby paintings, and has a little easel and everything. So I did order that. I think it's coming from the Belgium somewhere. But in the meantime, this is a little notebook I got with my ink flight box. It has paper, but it has a really sturdy back on it, cardboard back. So I have been also using this to just tape my little bitty piece of paper down and paint on that. And I can hold that in one hand, and I can put the magnet on it if I wish. and paint along. So those are my baby paintings that I have been working on. So I wanted to share those with you. Put those aside. So that's my little baby painting gallery. Actually, let me tell you what I'm finding by doing these. I'm finding that it's actually very helpful because it makes me, even though it's not a large painting, I have to pay attention to my values, just like you would in a large painting. My values, my lights, my darks, my focal point, where I want the eye to go. So it's like doing little thumbnail sketches to prepare for a larger painting. And it's actually, to me, very therapeutic just to sit and paint these little tiny paintings. This is another little box that I put together. I ordered these. This one I put some full pans in and just tried a little set of lemon yellow, quin lilac, and phthalo blue turquoise. See how they play together. They are on magnets, so the magnets are on the inside of the pan, and I have them labeled so I can move it around and change my mind, which I like to do. And I have my clipboard, which I often use for painting anyway. Then I was thinking about new supplies. I have plenty of paper because I buy my Arch paper in 22 by 30 inch sheets, the great big giant ones, and then I tear them down to size carefully, or cut them, whatever you wish to say. I fold them carefully and get a nice straight edge on the fold, and then I carefully tear them. But I was running out of my sketchbooks, and I love my sketchbooks, so I watched Emily Olson again, and she had some new recommendations, and I was like, great. I was just thinking this. This is the Fabriano Artistico 100% cotton, 300 GSM, 140 pound. But what I didn't realize was I got the rough texture. This is on a little block. It's a great size, but I'm not used to working with the rougher texture. I'm used to the regular 140 pound. So I was a little disappointed when I tried this, but it's probably user error because I'm just not used to it. But that was one of my purchases. The other thing that she purchased that I was actually quite pleased with are these notebooks it's called Light Wish, Lightwish. They are made in China, but I think they're shipped out of Utah or something. And she said that she found the paper was actually quite good. So I have been playing with this as well. I'm sorry. I was froggy this morning. So I did a little rose, some background. This is my swatching my tiny palette that I just showed you here. So these are the colors in my tiny palette. And then I don't have any greens in here because I can mix greens with the colors that I have. Base this palette on magenta as the cool red. And then I have Hansa Yellow Light, Lemon Yellow, Quin Gold, New Gamboge, and Azo Yellow. And up here is the Hansa Yellow Light. And then my blues I chose was Ultramarine, Phthalo Blue Turquoise, and Danthrone Blue, which is one of my favorites, and then a neutral tint if I want to play and darken some of these up. And then I painted a little rose on that one. And I was really pleased, actually. It's not, this paper I wouldn't use for like my large paintings or whatever, but it's actually, the quality was not bad. I was very surprised. So for sketchbooks and on the go, maybe outside, plein air, did really well. So that was from Light Wish. I'll put the link in the description. And because I had gotten the rough paper by Fabriano instead of the regular cold pressed, I did go ahead and order another Fabriano Artistico 140 pound. So I have this to look forward to. This is also bound. It's the block, so it is bound on all 4 sides, but it's got the corner open where you can take your paper off after it's completely dry. Is what I recommend, because it will, I found it does buckle if you try to use it actually on this, and it will buckle the next page as well. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and gently remove this and then tape it onto my painting surface instead of trying to use the block and having it buckle so badly. So that is that. Then I had another big surprise that I really enjoyed. And this is from Bahang. Bahang is a Chinese company, Bahang watercolor paper, but the paper is really terrific, actually. I've gotten their blocks, I've gotten their pads before, and I have a travel journal, but this was a round, and I thought, I want to try this, and I'm not sure what I can do on it, but I want to try it. I've been pleasantly surprised with this and have really enjoyed my painting on it. It's been easy to work with. You don't feel like you're fighting with the paper. So let me show you some of the things that I have painted in March. I don't mean March, May. I have a whole bunch of them here. So let's start with the round palette, since we just showed that. This is one that I did. This was from my magnolia tree out front. My daughter went out and took a photograph. So I thought that was kind of fitting for the round format. I used Daniel Smith watercolors, the buff titanium for the leaves, the petals, and I don't remember what yellow I used. I need to be better about making my notations when I paint. But that was one that I did. That's from my magnolia tree. Then here's my dogwood again. Good old dogwood tree. I don't really need a reference photo for this because I've painted it so many times. But I thought this really came out well. Again, I was using my Daniel Smith watercolors. And I like to use, believe it or not, Potter's Pink, and let that trickle down into my trees as a base coat for the tree branches because it's granulating. And then I covered it with a little bit of coin gold to make it stand out a little bit. I did the sky with, I believe it was French ultramarine, but I had it very thin. And then after that dried, then I went back in with some Hansa Yellow Light and just dotted in. And because it was yellow on blue, it gave me my green leaves. So it wasn't totally dry then. It wasn't totally dry. So those are my little round palettes. Then, let's see what else I've been doing. Just in general, reviewing the month of May. I found a picture of the bowling alley that my husband and I went on our very first date in 1968. Yes, I'm that old. But I found a picture online of the bowling alley in Miami. It's called Bird Bowl. And I just had to paint it. So that's what I did. I painted the Bird Bowl. And this is my husband and I on our first date. It was a blind date, actually. And then I put the dates that the date was August 18th, 68. We got married in 69, February 13th. And he passed away in 2020. And actually, by the time I finished this painting, I actually had tears in my eyes because it was just really special to me to be able to paint this memory. And he had a pink Plymouth. So I put the pink Plymouth in the picture. And so that's another one of my May paintings. It's another one I did. This is 300-pound paper. This I did on Memorial Day. So I was thinking poppies. And so I painted this one for Memorial Day. And this is 300-pound paper. Just looking to see if there's anything on the back, but there's not. So I enjoyed doing this one too. Let me see what else I did. Here's another one. of my dogwood, except what I had done, I had gotten kind of frustrated. I kept painting and painting and wasn't satisfied with anything I was doing. And so this page I didn't like. See, it was just working things out, which happens. You know, that's why I like sketchbooks. You just work on things, and if it doesn't work, it's no problem. You just kind of work through things. I was kind of frustrated, so I turned it over, just put some water on here, no sketch, added some hematite genuine, probably some bloodstone, which are granulating, just kind of let it trickle down. Did some almost dry brushing, and then I splattered the same colors on as leaves, and I actually thought this was quite beautiful, and it only took me like about 10 or 15 minutes, but I like that one. So there's another dogwood from my yard. Here's another dogwood. Me and my dogwood. I love my dogwood tree. This was out just on an afternoon that I was just thinking and painting. The blooms are all gone, but we do have leaves on there, obviously. And let's see what else I did. One of my members in Follow Your Brush on my Facebook group had posted this beautiful picture of her that she took when she was taking a walk. She lives in the UK. And I tried this one about 8 times. And then finally I settled on this one that I really liked, finally. This is 300-pound paper. And as you can see, it's a side B. I had already used the other side for swatching colors, but I used the other side. And this also is Potter's Pink with a little bit of the gold granulating. And I was finally very happy with this one. This is another one I just played with for May. It's a bee and a flower. I have another one that I had done that my son had sent me. But I was just, like I said, I was just playing. And I like this way this black, this is lamp black from Daniel Smith. And it says it can be transparent. And so when I put it down, and then I went over it with a wet brush, sure enough, I got the outline, but yet you can still see through the bee's wings. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then I did a little bit of ink work over top. We had a little raccoon come to visit, look in our back window. So this is my little raccoon picture for May. He was so cute. It was just a tiny baby. And let's see what else I have. This is what I call another one of my memory paintings. This is a house that was in Fayetteville, Georgia, where we used to go. It was like a house of junk. He had everything under the sun in there. This old guy lived there for years and years. And if you were looking for something, my husband and son used to go down when my son was younger, very young, and find parts for go-karts, lawnmower parts, whatever you're looking for, you could find it at this old house. It normally was cluttered not only on the inside with junk, but on the porch and all along the sides. But they're about to tear it down. So one of the last few times I drove past there, I saw that they were clearing the lot, and I thought, I'm taking a picture of that house because that's a memory for my family. And so I painted that old house without the junk. In fact, this house was actually visited by that show called The Pickers, where they go and find junk, find things that are valuable. They actually came to this house and went through it at one point on the TV show. So it had lots and lots of goodies in there and lots of good memories. So that's another one I painted. Then another thing I have gotten that is new is my son sent me some more watercolor sticks from Daniel Smith. And one of the reasons I like these so much is, you know, I have difficulty with my hands, and so it's hard for me to squeeze 2 paints. But these are just like, they call it a pan in the hand. It's just, they're the same as your pan paints or tube paints, just less liquid. So they're more concentrated, highly pigmented. I keep them in the case, and then I label them on the outside, as well as you've got all your information on the inside. And you can just wet your brush and tip it to the paint stick, and it works just like paints in the pan, pan in the hand. So that was something else that was new for May, which I appreciated. The other thing I saw by watching Leslie, I'm not how to pronounce her last name, Leslie Strotz, is she uses these tennis band wristlets, elastic, on her wrist, so that when she's painting, she dips her brush and then she can use this instead of a rag. So if you're out doing plein air or even at home, I find it comes very handy. This is what I did last night on this side. Just dabbing your paintbrush and getting that excess moisture off for changing colors or cleaning it. So that's another thing I did. Another thing I did, one more thing, is I ordered these brushes from Fumui. I don't know how to say it. This is put together by Svetlin Safronev, and these are kind of cool brushes. I saw a review on them and I really liked them, so you know I had to try them. This is a mop brush. It tells me on the back of the box what each brush is for. Let me look. Let me cheat. This is the white mop brush. It's a number 4. This paints beautifully, absolutely beautifully. So I really like that one. The next one is a large, huge sable, pointed, round. It says number 8. Yeah, number 8. Now, this holds tons and tons of water, so just be aware of that. This is also a very nice size. This is also sable. Actually, I take that back. This is squirrel mop brush, also size number 8. The reason I actually bought this set is because it has this, and this is what I wanted to try. This has a needle nose. You see that? For detail. So this part is the barrel of the brush, and then this comes out to a tip. It's a size 12, and this is also sable. And then you can paint with the side, or you can use your tip and get a really fine point. So that was one of the main reasons that I wanted to try this set. Just curiosity, you know. I have some other new things that are coming and just haven't arrived yet. So when they do get here, I will be sure to show you. The tiny paintings I'm doing, I'm just taking old paintings that might have something on the back that I didn't care for, and I'm just tearing them down to make a smaller size, and I can work on the back. And so it's not like I'm using up all my paper. So I just tear them down to size. And actually, as I was looking at them, I thought some of these actually kind of pretty, could make something on top of them to make another little painting, tiny painting on the background. So so that's what I've been up to. Hope you're having a great weekend and happy June, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.